movie is It's a Wonderful Life. I hear that some of you know it. The movie pits two visions of community against each other. You have George Bailey's vision, Bedford Falls, a caring community where people support each other's opportunities. And you have Henry Potter's vision, Pottersville, cold at best, exploitative at worst. The lesson of this classic movie: the community gets to choose who it wants to be. Let's start by painting a picture of a vision for our community. In our vision, every greater St. Paul faith community, the mosques, the American Indian spiritual communities, the Buddhist temples, the synagogues, the churches, and more, each one commits to act on its teachings about compassion for our neighbors in poverty. Each one acts by organizing all of its members who are able to volunteer at least 1 hour a week to make a difference to our neighbors. In our vision, by 2025, 5,000 people from our faith communities have made the commitment. Each of the 5,000 gives 1 hour a week for a year, which adds up to 250,000 hours of work to deploy in this community. Let's continue with the vision. We use those 250,000 hours to do 3 things. Number 1, student success. We band together to work as trained volunteer tutors to help students who are behind get caught up. Number 2, job coaching. We band together as trained volunteer job coaches to help our neighbors get living wage jobs. And number 3, emergency services. Together, we weave a web of compassionate emergency services to help families in crisis stabilize and feel supported moving forward. In our vision, because our faith community pours itself into this work, 3 things happen. First, our faith communities gain steam. They're energized because we're having impact. We build community within our houses of worship around this work. Young people come back into our faith communities. They want to be part of healing the world, and the faith communities are the place to be for that. Second, elected officials sit up and take notice. They see that our faith communities' dedication, strategic focus, muscle, and web of trust are critical ingredients to the secret sauce for building opportunity here. They invite the faith community to the table. And third, we build the community we want to live in. People in our town are not afraid of people from other faiths. We work together, side by side. Opportunity grows, poverty recedes, and in our vision, we know that we have each other. Hold on to that vision for a minute while I tell you a personal story. Luann Kling of blessed memory was one of my most important teachers. She was a hog farmer from Granite Falls who rose to become the head of our nation's farm lending agency. For Luann, every encounter was a learning lab in seeing what was really going on in other people's lives. She talked to everyone. Even standing in line for a pack of gum with Luann was never a simple thing. You'd pay for the gum, and just when you thought you could slip out of the store, she'd turn and ask the startled 15-year-old cashier Where do you think that gum came from? Who do you think drove the delivery truck? What do you think his hourly wage was? You think he has to work so many hours that he never sees his family? And so on. I always felt really bad for the cashier and the people behind us in line, but I was always really proud to be with Luann. Luann's real focus was understanding poverty and building opportunity. Let's turn to that same focus, understanding poverty and building opportunity. The economy's doing well, right? Despite the recent ups and downs, our portfolios are strong. But for many of us, the economy is not doing well. The Met Council reports more and more parts of the Twin Cities are areas of concentrated poverty, where at least 40% of the people live in poverty. That's 2 out of every 5 people you see on the street. Our buses and light rail have become homeless shelters of sorts. And we're all reading about the tent camps, both in Minneapolis and in St. Paul. What is going on, and what do you think we should do? It's easy to say, I don't know what to do. But our faith tells us we can't stop there. We're the faith community. We pray to God that we can make a difference. We need to figure this out. Joshua Mibanussi, a national expert on poverty and opportunity, advises us to take a slice of making a difference rather than getting overwhelmed by the whole pie. So what's our slice? It's pairing our faith community's untapped volunteer labor force with the work that needs to get done. So what is that work? It's work to help our neighbors earn a living wage. And that work begins with helping children do well in school. And it extends through helping adults pass the exams that open doors to jobs that pay decent wages. Like George Bailey, we can commit to use our resources to help increase our neighbors' success. We can work together to flood our community with supports for progress in reading, progress in math, support to pass exams to get good jobs, job coaching, and of course, shelter, food, and other necessities for stability. Let's step back. If we're excited about this vision, if we're serious about getting this done, we need to be serious about choosing effective partners, mobilizing volunteers, banding together, and channeling our work to create impact. You have asked Interfaith Action to build the scaffolding for this work, and we accepted that responsibility. Let's talk about how we can organize to get this done. The 2010 Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded for contributions in matching theory, which is about how good outcomes depend on good matches. Interfaith Action's work is built on good matches. We match people who want to be part of the solution with good solutions that need more people. Our Project Home matches houses of worship like this one that want to provide shelter with families who need shelter. Our Department of Indian Work, or DIW, matches volunteers and interns who want to build job skills and service work with work that serves community members in crisis. In these programs, the support to families is enormous. The impact on the volunteers is transformative, and the faith communities that embrace the work are strengthened. And now with Opportunity St. Paul, or OSP, we're expanding our impact by engaging even more faith communities in effective, purpose-driven work. Here's how. We did research to find 7 top-notch nonprofits that move the needle on poverty. They have impressive results in their tutoring, mentoring, and job coaching. But their impact is limited because they don't have enough volunteers. Together, they have hundreds of people on their wait lists. OSP makes good matches between these carefully vetted nonprofits and faith community volunteers, and also provides education and builds community around the work. So what's the impact? We have lots of data, but I only have time for one example. Against terrible odds, one of our OSP tutoring partners reports that nearly half the children they tutor make more than a year's worth of progress each year in reading and math. That is huge and can change the trajectory of a child's life forever. What's the impact on our volunteers? Our volunteers tell us that they are reading the newspaper differently. Now, they read a story once to think about the impact on themselves, and then they read it again to think about the impact on the child they're tutoring. Like Luann, they're seeing the world from the perspective of the other. And what's the impact on faith communities? We know about the challenges faith communities are facing these days. This work will help. Project Home taught us that houses of worship are strengthened when well-supported social justice work is brought into the heart of the faith community. Remember that vision I talked about in the beginning? Let's go back to it. The community we want to live in is a place where opportunity grows and poverty recedes. If we pull together, we really can have that. Like Luann, we can try to understand our neighbor's experience. We can ask where the gum came from. We can build opportunity. Interfaith Action has put the scaffolding in place. The only question is whether we're serious about getting this done. Our community gets to choose.